Ichikawa excuses the smell, attributing it to the kaiju cleaning work. Shinomiya wonders why two janitors are there. Meanwhile, Kafka lifts his car upright, leaving Shinomiya astonished. She assumes he must have a special suit, as there's no other logical explanation. Introducing himself to the confident girl, Kafka's parking spot is taken by Shinomiya's butler. Intrigued by him, Shinomiya vows to outdo him in the test. As they leave, Ichikawa is furious, seeing Kafka already using his power before the test even begins. Kafka apologizes, promising not to use it again unless absolutely necessary. Like with his car. The second phase, known as the most challenging, starts. In the first part, Kafka struggles to keep up with the other runners in the training race, despite daily training. The second phase comprises two stages. The first tests endurance, and the second tests skills. Content changes yearly, making it unpredictable. Kafka performs below average in the physical test, wondering if age is a factor. Tempted to use his power to outshine everyone, he refrains, ending up near the bottom. Shinomiya mocks him, finding it easier than expected. Kafka, humiliated, begs her to forget his name. However, Ichikawa praises Kafka for not using his power, stating it would be unfair when everyone else is exerting effort. Despite his desire to impress, Ichikawa points out that this year's candidates are exceptionally strong. In Mina's office, she reviews this year's recruits' profiles, including Kafka's photo, feeling a hint of joy despite her stoic demeanor. A soldier delivers the recruits' files, discussing top candidates like Haruchi Izumo and Aharu Furuhashi, noting their exceptional abilities. Aoi Kaguri, a rising star at FTAJ, gave up her future there to join the defense team. Most participants are elite level, with Shinomiya standing out as a prodigy in kaiju hunting, despite being just 16. Shinomiya approaches Kafka again, asserting her superiority, but Kafka's outburst is halted by his guards. Undeterred, she vows to crush him whenever she pleases and leaves. The second part of the test begins, with participants directed to a training ground where they'll face kaiju and must defeat them. They encounter Hashina, the test's proctor. Of course, nobody goes empty-handed, so Hashina provides all participants with special defense troop suits, as well as anti-kaiju weapons. The defense team's special suit is made from organic parts of kaijus and fuses with the human body, enhancing strength exponentially. Ichikawa's suit releases 8% of its power. Hashina explains that this percentage indicates how much power from the uniform a person can extract, and 8% is actually significant. A trained general typically achieves around 20% extraction, so it's a substantial amount. To everyone's surprise, Shinomiya extracts an incredible 46% from the suit, a true prodigy on par with a platoon leader. Several candidates achieve above 10%, but no one comes close to Shinomiya. Hashina mentions that 10% is already impressive, and he's never seen anyone at 0%. Until Kafka appears. Shinomiya finds Kafka increasingly irritating, having seen him lift a car earlier. Why doesn't he show that power now? Now equipped, Hashina begins the final test. Each participant will be monitored by a drone, observing their actions while hunting kaijus. If their life is in danger, the control center will activate a remote shield, but this will result in disqualification. Shinomiya naturally stands out, agile and effortlessly defeating multiple kaijus. Meanwhile, Kafka struggles to wield his weapon due to lacking the strength of the suit. When Hashina mentions that Captain Mina Ashiro herself is watching, Kafka begins to focus seriously. Analyzing the situation, Kafka realizes that the drones assess each individual's approach, meaning the test isn't just about eliminating kaijus, but also adapting to chaos. With their low offensive power, Kafka and Ichikawa decide to provide support. They aid a team fighting one of the kaijus. Kafka knows their weaknesses inside out and throws a sound grenade that ruptures the monster's eardrums, creating an opening at its vulnerable belly. Kafka alerts the attack team and they capitalize on it. Things seem to be going well for Kafka without using his power, but just when everything seems fine, he's attacked up close by another kaiju. Kafka is injured and suffers multiple fractures, and the command center team prepares to activate the remote shield. If they do so, Kafka will be disqualified. Despite giving his all to try to get up and out of the situation, nothing seems to work. The shield is about to be activated, but Kafka is saved by Shinomiya, who declares that casualties and withdrawals will not be allowed while she's on the battlefield. Although she saves him, she makes sure to showcase her arrogance before heading into the final stretch. Hashina speaks through Kafka's earpiece, informing him of his multiple fractures and recommending he withdraw for treatment, but only Kafka can make that decision. Refusing to give up, even if it seems foolish at his age, Kafka will bet everything he has to keep moving forward. Kafka suggests Ichikawa go ahead, but he refuses and decides to support Kafka until the end. Kafka seizes on this and comes up with an idea. Ichikawa carries Kafka on his back while he handles the weaponry, which Hashina finds hilarious, asking if he can approve them just for being so funny. Using all the strength of his suit, Ichikawa runs fast while Kafka handles the offense, but Shinomiya is faster. Agile and swift as a plane, she surpasses herself more and more. None of the other candidates can keep up with her. She's so far ahead that none of the others can even act as her support. She takes down all the smaller kaijus and moves on to the largest and final kaiju. She launches a grenade at it and finishes it off with a powerful shot. Yes, she's amazing despite being showy. The test ends, the drones are collected, and the injured are treated. Shinomiya exceeded expectations, basically carrying the team, as expected of director Shinomiya's daughter. Shinomiya executes everything perfectly and has a moment of reflection, remembering her father. Thinking of going back to show off to Kafka, she's surprised when another kaiju appears. This kaiju is completely different from all the others, standing the same height as Kafka. Shinomiya realizes it wasn't on the target list, and before she can react, she's shot with a single bullet that pierces her chest. The slain kaijus on the battlefield begin to rise, regenerating their lost limbs. Shinomiya is gravely wounded, falling to the ground and coughing up blood. Fortunately, she focused the suit's defense entirely on her heart to protect it, believing she's still capable of fighting. In front of her stands the strange kaiju, petting the largest one Shinomiya had just killed, calling it a good boy. No kaiju can speak, and this truly surprises Shinomiya. The enemy then says, "Chew well before swallowing." Shinomiya is hit by several more pressure shots that pierce her like styrofoam once again. In the control center, Hishona asks what the hell is happening. Why are the kaijus rising? His colleague explains that the dead kaiju's fortitude is now at 6.4. At this level, only an entire battalion can contain such a kaiju. Mina wastes no time and calls for Hashina to go to the battlefield. An alert is issued for the candidates to evacuate the area. Shinomiya can't get up, thinking it's pointless to evacuate if they don't stop that monster. Many will die. The kaiju fibers in the uniform can stem the bleeding. She can still move slowly and wishes to fight. She remembers her father saying she needed to be perfect for the nation's future. She can't let anyone die there. She needs to be perfect. But as she struggles to get up, she's hit by a violent blow from the larger kaiju, throwing her forcefully against the debris. In Shinomiya's childhood, she excelled in her studies and topped the test. Her classmates praised her. She was the best, but all the other children were congratulated by their parents and rewarded with gifts, even though their grades were slightly lower. Upon returning home, Shinomiya learns that her father is coming back today and should be pleased with her top grade. But when he arrives, he only says she's merely fulfilling her duty. This breaks her heart, but she continues to obey her father, who tells her to set new goals. Her father made it clear she had to be perfect for the nation's future and for her deceased mother. Amidst these memories of needing to be perfect at all costs, the kaiju tosses her around like a rag doll, breaking her arm, and she can no longer use her weapon. The kaiju fully regenerates and gathers energy for a crushing blow against Shinomiya. The defense team has not yet arrived, and she can't get up, so she apologizes to her father. She couldn't do it. Then Kafka appears in front of her, saying she did damn well. This catches her completely off guard. What the hell is Kafka doing here? He says that thanks to Shinomiya's persistence, the other participants were able to evacuate, so now she can leave the rest to him. Moments before, everyone is evacuated, and Kafka learns that Shinomiya is the only one holding the larger kaiju. Ichikawa searches for Kafka and sees he's already gone, heading straight for Shinomiya. He wonders if Kafka will really transform, and indeed he does. Ichikawa knows that guy doesn't hesitate in moments like these. Shinomiya sees Kafka's secret, asking if he's been a kaiju all along. Kafka pleads for her not to tell the defense team, and then the kaiju begins preparing another blow, but Kafka easily dodges it. He'll explain everything to Shinomiya later, so he asks her to relax while he handles this. In the control center, abnormal energy is detected near Hanju, the larger kaiju. They have no images due to dust and network issues, but they can see Kafka's power level, which is 9.8. Hashina hears this and says it's impossible, that it must be a system error, but if it's correct, it will go down in history as one of the greatest kaijus ever, a daikaiju. Kafka concentrates his energy and prepares his powerful punch, but this time, tentacles emerge from his leg, holding him down to contain the impact. A thruster forms on his dominant arm, his muscle mass increases, and the entire area is pressured with immense force. Kafka shatters the muscles, bones, and everything else of Hanju completely, and Shinomiya's reaction is the best of all. Kafka says, "I want to see you come back from this." Even though she wasn't injured, she could never have defeated that kaiju. Kafka reaches out his hand to Shinomiya and pulls her close, punching another kaiju approaching from behind. He's glad she's safe and even tells her she needs to prioritize her safety. Ichikawa appears, saying the same to him. While the two argue, Shinomiya faints from the overwhelming emotions. Afterward, the defense team finally arrives at the scene. No candidate was injured. Kafka, Ichikawa, and Shinomiya took refuge in one of the shelters on the field. Mina sees there are many questions in the air, such as the kaijus reviving. And Hashina notices it's a scene very similar to 3 months ago when kaiju number 8 appeared. There might be a connection. Kafka and Ichikawa return to the hospital, but their injuries aren't too severe. Mina visits them after learning they protected Shinomiya and formally thanks them. Kafka tries to call her but hesitates. It's not the right time yet. He decides to talk to her only after becoming a full-fledged member of the troupe. Meanwhile, that same strange kaiju from before listens to the radio, which reports the incident at the defense base and that there were no deaths. But how is that possible? He wonders. He doesn't believe Captain Ishiro is that strong, and in the midst of it, he receives a call summoning him to finish cleaning some tracks. The strange kaiju starts writhing and transforming into a human. He returns to his team, revealing himself to be the newest member of Kafka's cleaning crew.